Tribulation, my tribulation, day 15. It's hard to say how long maybe you've been on your tribulation, and maybe we've all been in this tribulation, but it's been over 2 weeks, 15 days. The world continues to slide downward. I'm still out there being a positive force, though. Once again, in times of tribulation, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. So, you know what? I'm trying to get going. But all sorts of crazy stuff. Here in San Jose, once again, the weather, in my opinion, is slightly abnormal. We're lucky in San Jose. We have like one of the best microclimates. I don't know if that's the word you use, but it's great. The weather's just fantastic. A bad day here is a good day wherever the heck it is you're living at. But that being said, it's a fact. There's this kind of like cold air mass that's coming over California, which is, I think, keeping temperatures slightly cooler than normal. And once again, this morning, a lot of moisture in the air, a lot of moisture and coldness still going over them Rockies out into, the Midwest. And I think, more rain and just, kind of nasty weather across the United States might continue for at least another week or two, until this weather pattern is broken. So more flooding, it's crazy, man. Another little story in the news is that the U.S. House of Representatives is set to vote on raising the debt ceiling, and it's kind of a crucial, thing. Let's see what happens, man. Oh, hey, good news, they voted to raise the debt ceiling. Meanwhile, we're another, $3 trillion in debt. Like our kids will never get out of debt. Like debt now controls us, Or, oh, hey, great news, they didn't raise the debt ceiling, but all the markets are collapsing. So, to me, there doesn't even seem to be a good outcome to be expected from this vote, So that's why it'll be so interesting to watch. Another little thing I noticed is, in this tribulation, part of it is about disease and our health, the environment, pollution, whatever. But, I do think, two things might be happening. One is, little teeny germs and microscopic organisms, bacteria, Eccoli, whatever, they may be mutating to some extent. I heard like the swine flu, that's all about, is it mutates, where all of a sudden where it was killing birds or pigs, it's killing humans and lots of us. But I think it's like all bacteria may be more resistant to whatever we're trying to use to fight them off, whether it's disinfectant or penicillin and whatnot. And that brings up the other end of the equation is, in this tribulation, our lifestyles, basically we're all getting more unhealthy, and our immune systems are probably getting weaker, which then allows us to be infected more. And I know I'm diabetic, and I actually had the flesh-eating bacteria infect my body, and I came this close to death. Like this close to death. See how close that is? But I'm still here. That's why I think maybe I'm here for a purpose, because you don't come that close to death and not have a reason for still being around. So I'm kind of on borrowed time. But the news is kind of out there. In the United States, we've had all sorts of E. coli stuff, in spinach and all sorts of produce. But now, over in Germany, they just had a huge outbreak in the cucumber crop. And, I think about 20 people dead, a couple hundred sick. But, that all plays into the food situation. If we're getting sick off of the stuff we're eating, or there just isn't stuff to eat because all the crops are being wiped out by floods and disasters, that once again feeds into the tribulation of like starvation, and famine. And there's more people than ever to feed. So right now I don't really see any good news on the food and people front. We haven't cured anything. The cold, cancer, and stuff that we thought we got rid of is back. So, I'm going to wrap this. one last thought, it's the Middle East at all times is bubbling, and as I've talked about before, time is like a circle. Everything's kind of goes in cycles, or history even repeats itself. So that's one reason why we always say, hey, look back at history, because if you understand what happened, maybe you can prevent it from happening. You can change the future by understanding the past. But the past kind of keeps rehappening. But in the Middle East, it's kind of like Israel against everybody. And, whether the United States is going to stand with Israel or perhaps not stand with Israel. But if you want to read up, you can do a search on the internet. Kind of search by well, like you could go to Ezekiel chapter 39, and I actually oh yeah, what you search by is for the Day of Atonement, and that's a huge day in the Hebrew religion, the Judeo religion. I was actually born on July 10th. I don't know if there's any coincidence in that, but the Day of Atonement is the 7th month, the 10th day. But, to be fair, on the Hebrew calendar, that's actually like September, I think, September 10th. But, I found it odd, like I was born on 7/10, which is the Day of Atonement. But if you search by that in the Bible, there's a lot of chapters, both Old Testament and New Testament, and the Day of Atonement is always in reference to the tribulation and the final day or two and the end and judgment. And they always talk about on that Day of Atonement how the whole world is going to be aligned against Israel, Gog and Magog. And if you read that chapter 39 of Ezekiel, it's all about how the Lord delivers Israel, and there's a lot of people dead, surrounding Israel. Is that what's happening? I don't know. But I'm watching it so carefully because it just seems like it's on fire, and events are moving at an extremely fast pace. But anyway, that's kind of where we're at with the tribulation. Keep the faith. You can email me. You can go to the website. The blog is totally happening now. We got polls and whatnot. But if there's anything you want to talk about, you can tell me something, And, I wouldn't mind but anybody else wants to share their tribulation, I'd look to see how we could incorporate that in too. So anyway, I'm going to hang in there. It's Memorial Day. I'm trying to remember, all the people that gave their lives so that we have the freedom to do exactly what I'm doing right now, which is just express myself. So, get your tribulation on, keep it real, and be positive, do something nice, and remember those who sacrificed everything. Peace out, man.